Hey guys, so I decided to do like a talkative sort of video on do I read reviews before I buy something? Are reviews pointless? Do I look at reviews? Like, is there any point? Do people even look at reviews anymore? That sort of thing. And obviously, because I make videos, do I still look at reviews? And does that stop me from buying something and everything like that? So, first off, when it comes to sort of like makeup, I don't necessarily look at reviews unless it's on YouTube. So I don't purposely, so you know how like every site usually has reviews. So for example, Boots, and you click on a foundation and some people have written reviews. I don't necessarily look at reviews like that unless it's kind of like 1 star overall. Then okay, I might have a look, and I've not heard anything about it. But when it comes to makeup, I usually just, if I'm unsure about it, I usually just search on YouTube. But even then, I tend not to, but then again, now I buy makeup because of a video I've seen on YouTube. I don't necessarily blind buy, but even if I do, I don't necessarily look at reviews because most of the time when I decide to splurge on makeup, it is when I'm actually in the store and not necessarily online. That's why, like, my the amount of makeup I've been buying in the past few months anyway has steadily decreased, but obviously it's decreased even more just because I don't know, I just don't feel that inspired to buy it when looking online. I feel more inspired when I see it in the store because then I can swatch it and stuff like that and look at the quality and everything like that. So I don't necessarily look at reviews when it comes to stuff like that. I thought I mentioned like jobs as well. So especially on Indeed, what you can have is a company and it has its reviews. I will always look at their reviews because you want to know why like no one wants to work for them or why people who've worked for them before have given it so low rating. Like there was one that I saw the other day of this shop in near me in a bus station, and basically this one review from that store, so you can actually pick if it's specifically that person has worked for them in your area, or if they haven't, they can see other reviews from different areas. But this person had actually had actually worked at this Derby store, and this person was like, yeah, it was so stressful, I wanted to kill myself. So that was very helpful. Obviously I did not apply for that job, so with stuff like that I tend to look into it because I don't want to leave a job then go into another job and I completely hate it because management's shit or that sort of thing. So I do look at that. When it comes to technology, I tend to as well. So when it comes to phones, I like to look at reviews before I buy. I don't necessarily look at just by design. I tend to like to go in depth and look at like reviews and stuff. When it comes to phones, I tend to more refer actually, websites where people have like written reviews, should I say, written reviews compared to YouTube reviews, just because not like there's a lot of sponsorship out there on YouTube, but I feel that it being written is more credible, even though even then that website could be sponsored by that company. But I just feel more sort of, I don't know, it feels less. Sometimes a review on a video seems so structured you kind of know it's sponsored, that sort of thing. Whereas, I just prefer to look written ones, and plus to go in depth and everything like that. So most of the time I will look at a review. Like if I see a phone that I like, before I commit to it, I will kind of read the reviews and see, when I say reviews, not necessarily user reviews, as I said. I don't necessarily look at user reviews. So obviously, again, some websites, like I think O2 do it, where you can obviously see where people have written reviews. I don't tend to go for them. I prefer going more searching on Google and looking at these websites and these companies have actually done an in-depth review of the actual phone. So there's that. When it comes to other technologies, I don't really. TVs, I just buy a TV. Let's be honest. I'm not that fussed. Same with headphones. Usually, I'm not necessarily that fussed. I mean, if someone's done a review of a headphones and it sounds good, like on YouTube, then I'll consider buying it. But I don't necessarily go out my way if I do want a pair of headphones to like to review, like fan reviews of every sort of headset. Um, there is really the last expensive headphones I got was actually, I'm annoyed by that because I lost the charging case for that. It's the the what's it? The Skullcandy push earphone things. I lost the case for it, and I don't know where it is, and it's annoying me. But they were the last. Actually, they were only 99. I would say the Skullcandy Hesh 3s are the most expensive, but them I actually listen to in the store because HMV, some of the headphones you can actually listen to before you buy. That one I kind of got on a whim, the push ones, just because of the colour. I knew they weren't going to fit my ears that greatly anyway, but the marketing, I'm a sucker for marketing. I'm sorry, I'm a sucker for marketing. So that's kind of my thing with like reviews. I don't really, if I buy clothes online, I don't really look at reviews. I don't. I know my mum does. I don't. I just, if I like it, then I'll buy it, that sort of thing. So more so when it comes to reviews, I tend to, when it comes to like looking for a job and company reviews about that company and working for that company, I look for, when it comes to phones, I'll go and look for in-depth reviews, not necessarily YouTube videos. They're always kind of written just because I just prefer that kind of format. And makeup, if I see a review on YouTube and I like it, then I'm going to get it. I don't necessarily go out my way to look for a review of a foundation or a review of a lipstick, that sort of thing. But yeah, that is basically, oh, when it comes to games as well, I thought I'd mention games. Games, I tend to go for reviews as well. Sometimes I don't necessarily, but sometimes if I want a game, I may review it. I don't 100% always look at reviews on games and stuff like that. Sometimes I do, especially if I'm very unsure about the game and it's very it's kind of sort of mixed reviews. I tend to, but yeah, I thought I'll mention games as well. But yeah, that is basically it. I'm interested if you like look at reviews before you buy things. I thought this was really interesting because I'm like looking at phones at the minute and I'm like, do people generally look at reviews, or do they just buy a phone? Because even if I'd look at a review, I'd still review it myself, that sort of thing. Because I know a lot of YouTubers who do videos tend not to like that, and they tend to blind buy a lot more just because they don't want that review they've seen influence their opinion on the product. And most of the time that doesn't really affect me. If I don't like the product, I mean, I'll look at for signs. If there's signs where people have said the things that they don't like about it, I look for signs like that. But most of the time I don't like that necessarily influence my purchase. I may have more of like a borderline expectation or a low expectation. I might go into something with a low expectation and then suddenly it's actually really good, like the foundation from Poundland, that one's really good. People keep using sponges. Stop using sponges. It's a mousse. It's a thick mousse. You need to use a buffing brush, but that sort of thing. And also, if you've got movies, films, I will, depending. If it's a film I'm not sure of, then I'll watch a review. If it's a film that I know I'm going to watch anyway, then I don't look at reviews because I don't want any sort of hints at all. That's usually, but sometimes if I'm still unsure, I'll read, I'll listen to a review. It doesn't necessarily stop me because I find with films that there's a lot of films out there which a lot of people don't like, but then I think it's an overreaction where people's hate towards it. Like for example, but the recent film where I've been like, it's not that bad, which is Batman v Superman. I think the hate towards that is a bit over exaggerated. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some things that are a bit what, but I mean overall it's not a bad film. You know what I mean? So I tend to kind of like sort of with films be more open-minded if I do see a review, just because a lot of the time people have different tastes all the time, and something that something may not enjoy, someone else may actually enjoy. So there's that as well. But as I said, them are the main things I tend to look for reviews for. But yeah, that is it for this review. So bye guys.